don't let the lusts of the world, the lusts of your eyes, get in the way of the will of God. It's not wrong to love those things, not wrong to enjoy those things, but do not let them become your life. Because whenever those things go, which it said, they will go, you're going to be so empty. And there's been things in my life that I've done that with, and they've gone, and I've felt so empty. And I'm guessing everyone in this room can relate to some type of that. Because I said it above. I said it on a pedestal. I remember a time where I was going through a really, really hard time, and I had to begin to pray. I would go into the church where I used to live, and they gave me free access to go in whenever I wanted. I'd go in there, I'd turn on music, I'd go into a dark room, and I'd close my eyes, and I'd take a chair and I'd put it in the middle of the room, and I would look at that chair and I'd say, God, you're on that chair. You are the only thing that you are going to be above everything else. You're in that chair. Everything else is around, but you are in that chair. I had to pray that and pray that and pray that, and I had to get him first. Because he wasn't first for a long time, and I was so empty when those things went away. We have to put him first. He has to be on the pedestal. And I could see so many things around it, but I could see this little stand come up above all those things in there, and God was on it. And he has to be like that in our lives. We have to surrender everything to him. He has to be first. Doesn't mean you can't have other things. He's got to be first. That's surrender. So let's look. Wait, one more. Galatians 5:19 through 21. Andrew.
Now the deeds of the flesh are evident, which are immorality, impurity, sensuality, idolatry, sorcery, enmity, strife, jealousy, outbursts of anger, disputes, dissensions, factions, envying, drunkenness, things like kerosene and...
Like, you read that and you're just kind of like, yeah, those things are terrible. But we do them. We do. I mean, look at them. Because here's what we do is we take those and we say, immorality, oh yeah, that's like you're in adultery and you're having sex with like 25 different people, and, well, dude, immorality is not just that. There's tons of immoral things that we do. But we need to understand that we are in the deeds of the flesh sometimes, and we have to begin to look at everything, because the devil is actually done no glory to him whatsoever. It's actually our fault. We've allowed him to do a good job of letting all the sins look to where they have to be huge in order to be a sin. Now, only in our own eyes, though. If someone else does it, it only has to be little. But whenever we do something, here's how we live. We live with, here's a line between good and bad. And we live, how close can I get to this line without crossing? Whenever we should be living, how far away from that line can I get? Because that's how Jesus lived. That's a surrender right there. You're not surrendering if you're saying, okay, kiss, touch, feel. I mean, that's not surrender. And that's probably a little bit different for you guys than it is for teenagers, which we kind of relate probably more to. I mean, you guys are probably kind of out of that a little bit.
Are you calling us old?
No, I'm not calling you old. I'm not calling you old. I'm not saying you're old. I'm just saying you're unrelatable.
You go through that.
We're old. That's all right.
John's 36, okay? It's not that old. It's only like twice as old as me. I'm just kidding, John. I'm sorry. You guys get my point, though, right?
Yeah.
It depends. It completely depends on what you're doing, where your heart is, where your mind is. If you set your heart on the things above, things of God, and you're seeking Him, any age, it doesn't matter if you're 15 or 150.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same. There are things that will come in and take over your life if you let them.
Yep.
If you keep giving in to it, it really doesn't matter. I mean, you guys can probably test as older people.
I mean, you guys have those. I know, and I agree. I was just giving John. No, I mean, I know plenty of people that are older. I know plenty of people that are your guys' age that do plenty of that stuff.
Unless you keep saying you're guys'
Yeah, I'm like really.
Well, you're not my
I don't
age.
even think I can stand this anymore.
I'm not even
In my house.
I'm not
Yeah.
even their age.
There we go, getting all offended. Way to be like Jesus, guys.
Yeah.
Hey, that's all right.
Next week, we're talking about offense.
There you
No,
go.
no.
All right?
We hope
Not a fence, but offense.
I was
Okay.
gonna
All right.
say, why don't we just build one?
There's already one back there. What are you talking
Not a
about?
bad idea.
I'm getting issues building.
Talking about offense and respecting the younger generation.
Yeah. We need to
That's what
talk
we're
about
talking.
respecting your elders.
That's what we're talking about. Are you calling yourself an elder?
You got you there.
Alright, so anyways.
Baker's about to get kicked out of the family.
Anyways, the deeds of the flesh are enmities, strife, outbursts of anger. What? Just, okay, let's get back in the spirit here.
Man, right in.
Oh man, I should have put the fruit of the spirit on there. Now we're all lost. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness,
That's the next-
gentleness,
isn't that the
faithfulness,
next
and self-control, guys.
Isn't that the next verse right after that one?
Yeah, it is. Okay.
We done threw a rock in the middle of the herd, and now we all scattered.
I like that.
Round us back up.
Alright, Adam. I'll let you round them up. Round them up, Adam. Give us
I'm
some
one of
words
the
of
sheep.
wisdom.
I'm not
Words of
running
wisdom,
around.
Adam. Let's hear them.
No got any.
You do too.
You got plenty.
Yeah, you're
Tino,
doubting yourself an
watch
awful
out,
lot.
I'm gonna pound them in you.
I mean, you quit doubting yourself. You're doubting yourself about praying for me. Now you're doubting yourself about having wisdom. I don't like the way you're going, Adam.
We need to pray for you, Adam.
Yeah. We need to pray for you, and then you get
That's
over here
it.
and
We're
pray
not
for me.
finishing the message. We're just going to pray for Adam for 30 minutes.
Sounds like a good idea.
Okay.
On that one.
Alright. The produce of surrender. What does surrender produce in our lives? We're going to read a bunch of verses. Galatians 6:17. You want to read that, Rick?
From now on, let no one cause trouble for me, for I bear not my body the brand marks, or for I bear on my body the brand marks of Jesus.
So we take up our cross daily. By surrendering, by following Jesus, we take up our cross daily. And then we get to a point where it's no longer we who live, but Christ who lives through us. And now that we're at that point, or whenever we get to that point where Paul is at, we can say, from now on, let no one cause me trouble, for I bear on my body the marks of Jesus. We share with him what he took, and now we share with him what he has received. We begin to become like him. We don't become him, but we become like him. And he begins to live through us. And that's not now surrender is not slavery. Surrender is not slavery. Surrender is not that, okay, well now you do every single thing Jesus tells you to, or you're bad. No, you have free will still. You have fun. People can look at that. People can look at that and say, that well, I don't want to live my whole life doing just that set of thing. You're living your life by rules and by a law right now. This is freedom. This is freedom because you don't understand it until you do it, because you don't understand the joy and the love and the peace and the patience and everything else. You don't understand what's going to come into your life. I mean, take 3 months out of your life and begin to pursue after Jesus. Trust me, you have plenty of life. Take 3 months out of your life and begin to pursue after him and see what he does in your life. If you decide you don't want him after that, okay. If you get into what he truly is, get into a place where the Spirit of God flows, you decide after 3 months that you want absolutely nothing to do with it whatsoever, then okay, it's your free will. But a lot of people have a false view of what it is. One, because of how a lot of church people are. First of all, they're hypocritical, where you see the people going to church, and then on the weekend, they're out getting wasted, having sex. They're out doing the same thing they get mad at you for doing. Or they're judgmental, where you walk in and you immediately feel like you don't belong there. Since when does anyone not belong in a place where God is? Since when does God tell someone that they don't belong? How do we? I just don't understand. How do we get that mixed up? How do we get that mixed up? At what point do we decide that, okay, now God is the one who says, no, you can't come in here unless your life is perfect, or at least you put on a nice outer image that makes you look like you're perfect. We don't care what you do outside of church, but you better look good when you're in church. I mean, where do we get that? We've literally created a God in our image, and what I want is the God who created us in His image. I want Him back. It's what Julie says. Will the real Jesus please stand up? I want that one. I want the one that created the heavens and the earth. I want the one that created me. I want the one that told me that I was beautifully and remarkably made. Remarkably and wonderfully made. I want that one. I want the one who died so that I could be with Him. Even in my sin. In my imperfection, that I may become perfect. That in my sin I may become righteous. That in my sin I can come back and be right standing with God. The one who put me up on the right hand with God. The one who created me to be above all things. The one who created me to tend to the earth. Created me to tell that stuff out there what to do and for it to obey me. I want to know that God. I don't want to know the God that makes me look good on the outside, but on the inside I'm hurt. And the reason I'm hurt, and because I'm hurt, and because I don't like who I am, I'm going to go out and tell everyone else how bad they are. I don't want that God. That's not a real God. It's a false idol, and it's called religion.
It's what Jesus called the Pharisees whitewashed tombs.
Yep.
They look good on the outside.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Dead